Good morning. You're always good with props, my friend. Where did you dig up the Expo hat? Didn't have to look far for that.
Buddy, I've had this in the rotation for several years, and it felt like a fitting day to dust this off for Larry.
I would imagine, well, right across the country, but in Montreal. Why not? What a moment it was yesterday. And I think the great thing that added to it was a surprise, because a lot of people, as you got to that deadline at 3, didn't think it's going to happen.
Well, and you look at the surge over the last couple of years. Here's a guy who had, 54% support going back 2 years ago, and to climb over 75% to get that needed vote to get in. Hey, look, the numbers don't lie, pair. Everybody, 7 gold gloves, 3 batting titles, an MVP. Larry Walker, you can talk about him playing in Denver, augmenting the offensive numbers. He still had to deliver, and he certainly did, and a deserving candidate to be in Cooperstown.
Larry Walker, a member of baseball's Hall of Fame.
It was so special. Like I say, I barely remember the moment. I was kind of floating on air and having some friends and family around me, and a lot of things entered my head when the phone rang, and as I was hearing what was being said to me, and as a Canadian, it was a proud moment for me to represent my country and be able to join Ferguson Jenkins in the Hall of Fame. This moment right here would never entered my mind as a child growing up. Of course, being Canadian, you're born into this world with a stick in your hand and skates on your feet. So that's how I was as a kid. You played hockey, and that's all that really mattered. When hockey didn't quite go the way I wanted, baseball more or less found me, as the story I've always told. And I didn't work hard at baseball at the beginning until I realized I had a little bit of ability at it. So once I figured that out, watching a lot of people play, learning from their mistakes, learning from their successes, and listening to my coaches and fellow teammates led me to this moment here, and here we are.
So great to have that kind of talk of baseball. Canucks off for the week, but everybody is scoreboard watching, and it worked out well for them. Winnipeg Jets are a team. Vegas loses, and the Jets a team that's struggling right now and lose to Carolina.
Canucks stay in first place in the Pacific as a result of Vegas losing last night. But, more importantly, how about that Hurricane celebration over the Jets? They played dodgeball last night.
Justin Williams comes back to that team after almost kind of retiring in September, and then you celebrate listen, bunch of jerks. I've enjoyed it. And who would have thought 2 years ago, when they make all the changes, Carolina would kind of galvanize a fan base there, and they're loving it.
Storm surge.
Yeah, and not a storm surge, but at least a win. Milos Raonic, how often has he carried the Canadian flag? He's kind of the only man left there.
He's kind of been the forgotten Canadian over the last couple of years with the rise of Bianca and Felix and Denis Shapovalov. But guess what? Milos off to the 3rd round at the Australian Open with a win over Christian Garin of Chile yesterday.
That's it for us. Have yourself a wonderful Wednesday, everybody.